out of the final two corners. Time to go racing with the final race of this triple header. We are green, 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 and everybody trying to find some space early. Sykes will get the jump, mid-corner, tucks it down to the bottom. Of course, coming in from behind, Nikita Johnson. See if he can't get by Matt Clark from the outside of the front row. Johnson, as we know, has been very aggressive over this weekend. Went to the tail of the field in race one, fought himself back up into the top five, was super aggressive as well in race number two. They'll fan out three wide. Clark able to hold that spot into second, but essentially two wide all the way through the downhill off camber corner. There's contact on the exit. A number of drivers have made contact there. At least three drivers involved. There's wings. Everything's everywhere, and we are 100% going full course yellow again. It's because one driver's beached in the gravel on the outside. The rest of them will race down, and again, as I said, they'll let them race here for likely half a lap, so they're all going to go to work. They're fighting away. Look at that scrap there. Johnson able to get by Papasavas, who's in the fight. It's still Sykes out, I believe, to the lead. Second is Clark. Again, they'll be able to race. Oh, one driver goes off as well. Has a little trouble going into six. He'll go four wheels off. That was Ethan Ho, I believe, off into the grass on the outside of turn number 6. So most definitely a bit of a chaotic opening lap. There's your full course yellow. The grid will freeze. John, no shortness of excitement throughout this day.
Yeah, every one of the races we've had drama on the first lap, and then once they get settled in, it's been clean and green the rest of the way for the most part. So this one holding true to form. Rusty, you've got a view of the cars off up there at the exit of the keyhole.
Yeah, a long way from here, but we've already had two cars come by with damage, and that would be Zach Ping. I think along with maybe Logan Adams, there's 4 cars that have stopped, 2 of them on track that made contact, and then there's 2 in the gravel trap. So a lot of work to do by the safety team up here as they are going to come by. They're running to those cars right now.
Yeah, Gordon Scully into pit lane already. Scully with the lost one of the front wings there. We do have a couple of replays, folks, to have a look at. A couple drivers that did come by further back. Al Mori in the 7. We saw that Scully into pit lane. I think we're looking at Garcias, Ping, Adams, Taylor, maybe Jamison involved as well. Here's your look here. It's going to be late in the runs. They come around. Someone got into the back of one of the D-Force drivers, Garcias, and then you see that one of the Jay Howard drivers climbing up. I think that's very likely Adams climbing up over the top of, I think, Zach Ping. Here's another shot here. Yeah, you see the driver getting tapped from the rear coming through, and the minute that happens, John, on the inside, everybody else just make evasive maneuvers. Where do I go? I try to find a way by. The minute you make a move, somebody's probably there already. So all that collateral damage, it just kind of shook down when one driver got into the back of Garcia and sent him around.
Yeah, and that's the worst place for it to happen because the cars are a little light. It's an off-camber turn, and as they get off the throttle, the rear end wants to come around. All the weight goes forward on the front wheels as cars try to check up, and that usually ends in spin. Here comes that car with the wing missing.
That's Maxwell Jamison.
Yeah, Maxwell Jamison, yeah.
So both Jamison and Garcia is involved as well. It might have been Jamison, actually, that got climbed over top of. Here comes the 97 as well, Ping.
Yeah, he's without a rear wing.
He's lost a rear wing as well.
Looks like an F-1600 race here.
It does. Pull the front wings off. Let's go racing. Indeed. So, again, that's all it takes, right? Coming down through the corners, one driver getting a little too deep. I said it was in the back of Garcias. Makes me feel like that might have been in the back of Jamison instead with the rear wing damage. He's already going to climb out of the car now. So, yeah, we're looking at a number of drivers involved. Maxwell Jamison, Zach Ping, George Garciarsis, Logan Adams, Max Taylor, all involved. Jacob Douglas getting that machine. I believe he was able to get out onto the racetrack, so Douglas is out there, although 2 laps back. And, of course, Lockie Hughes out completely, not able to get that issue fixed. I don't know if they're still even working on it. It's far end of the grill. Here, we've got another replay for you, folks, and it's going to be a little bit closer here, so let's have a look at this. We'll try to see if we can identify some of the drivers. And, again, watch them coming down. One driver looking to the inside. That's what it is. The VRD car was right up onto the, I believe, up onto the gravel, or under the grass on the inside.
And he taps the 10 car of Garcia Arce, who goes around.
And then he gets hit from behind as well. So that might have been Scully, potentially. I'm trying to think of where they started on the racetrack there. Right around Garciarsis. Yeah, I'm going to say that might have been Danny Dzelski, actually. Dzelski, rather, may have been the driver getting in there. Whatever happened, someone got into the back of Garciarsis.
Logan Adams was the one who climbed over the back of him. And
at that point, he's rolled back on the throttle.
Yeah, exactly right.
Wow. So a lot going on. The VRD cars look a lot alike, folks. It's hard to kind of pick them out unless you get a really good look at the number. But one of the VRD cars just kind of getting in the inside, whether it was pinched down or not, but he put the right side tires over on the other side of the inner curb there onto the grass. And at that point, he just pushed forward right into the back of Garciarsis. So a lot of carnage there. And again, 20 laps the distance here for this race here. 4 laps into the books. We do have, of course, the window of 40 minutes to use. We used all of that window in the USF Pro 2000 race earlier this morning. But the bottom line is, here's how it shakes down, is here comes the 33 of Max Taylor. Taylor then, okay, so Taylor's the guy that took evasive maneuvers to go to the gravel. We can see that by the...
Yeah, he was the first one went into the gravel trap.
By what his car looks like coming down into the corner. Sykes is the leader. Clark second. Johnson third. Papasavas fourth. Garcia in fifth spot. Sam Corey sixth. Chase Gardner seventh. Danny Duchelski in eighth. Look at this. Thomas Schrag has got himself up into ninth. He started in 19th. That's 10 positions already. He was the Tilton Hard Charger for race 1 and race 2, and lining it up for race 3 as well. They made some changes to the car of Schrag, who had the issue in qualifying, didn't get a lap in, and literally then started last. His best lap in race number 2 moved him up a spot. His best lap in race number 2 then moved him up in race 3 as well. So instead of starting at the tail of the field, he started 19th, but still gains 10 positions on the opening circuit.
He has been something, and in his first outing with the series, he has definitely shined. So he's going to be one to watch here going forward, I think.
A lot of cleanup right now, and shout out to the AMR IndyCar safety team for getting that done. We had a couple laps, of course, under the yellow, and then now really only our second lap here now under the yellow from the incident. So we did have those couple of laps early with the issue with Lockie Hughes.
Rusty, you've got eyes on the cleanup. How are they doing?
Yeah, we've got one more car that's off to driver's left in the grass. I think they pulled it out of the gravel. I can't get the number. It's missing part of the nose cone and the wing, which is about the only place the numbers are on these cars.
That's very true.
Without that, I can't really tell, but there's a record just now getting on site. The other car that was involved in that has already been recorded off our track cut, our little opening there in the top of the keyhole and out of harm's way. So we just need to get this last car up on the wrecker, and they'll probably take it out that back gate as well.
I think that's probably going to be either Garciarsis or Adams. Those are the two drivers still unaccounted for, and we know that one car has already been put behind the wall. One more still to go. Ideally, when they get back through, we could potentially go green flag racing once again. Simon Sykes, again, thinking about it. I guarantee the Pabst team on the radio saying your primary championship contender, Lockie Hughes, is out of this race right now. So this is a fantastic opportunity for him to pad some points heading into the last kind of stretch run as we head to Toronto for a doubleheader in Toronto. Then we have a triple header to cap off the championship at Portland on Labor Day weekend. So Simon Sykes looking good right now to potentially pad that point lead. But again, the two guys behind him, Matt Clark and Nikita Johnson, those are the next guys in the championship points as well. They made up a little bit on the weekend, so they're going to try to keep digging. So a long way still to go for everybody to try to win this scholarship worth over $433,000.
We're working race lap number 6. We're 13 minutes into the race, so if we can finally get a green course here, hopefully we'll have some time to get some racing in. But so far, the pace car is leading handily.
That's it. Yeah. Bonus points for leading the field right now. Folks, the USF Pro Championships would like to welcome students from the University of Northwestern Ohio today who are guests of the Discount Tire STEM program. I had a chance to walk them through a couple of meet and greets. We had a chance to go to the TJ Speed Cars. They've been doing a lot of interviews and talking to a bunch of people. Yeah, that is indeed the car of Logan Adams. Man, he just wanted to have a good day today, and 2 wrecks in those events, not of his own doing. So tough one for Logan Adams. But again, great to have a Discount Tire and their STEM program here. If you haven't seen our mini documentary, The Climb, brought to you by Discount Tire, that's available on the mobile app. If you want to follow all the action, download the free USF Pro Championships app at the Apple Store for iPhones and Google Play for Android mobile phones and tablets. And if you want to be part of the nation's largest pit crew, visit DiscountTire.com to learn more about career opportunities throughout the U.S. Indeed, pace car lights are off. Time to go racing. We'll put lap number 6 in the books. We're going to have 14 laps remaining. Let's see if we can't get some clean racing. We talked about this earlier. Once we get through the first couple of laps after a restart, things kind of settle back in. They can go to work. It's all about getting through and down, essentially back into Thunder Valley cleanly on that opening lap. Simon Sykes will now have to defend from Matt Clark in the USF Pro Championships livery from the scholarship he won from winning USF Juniors last year. Nice punch off for the 22 of Sykes, and he will lead him down under the Cooper Tires Bridge into turn number 1. Field looking good. A little bit more battling further back, side by side through that corner there. You see further back there, a couple of drivers going at it. It's Carson Eder, I think, and potentially Brady Golan, or either that or Avery Towns. Here they come down into turn number 1 now, into the inside. People looking good up front. I like it right now for Sykes and Clark. Johnson's getting attacked a bit here, though. Papa Savas and Garcia. Max Garcia fighting there as well, Rusty. You got yourself a gaggle there coming 3, 4, 5.
Watching them down. First 2 already by, but the next 4 nose to tail there on the outside. I think that's Papa Savas trying to make that move.
Yeah, we'll watch them as they come through 4. Once again, new third-place car will pick it up as they come up over 5. That is the 17 machine of Nikita Johnson. Johnson now sets his sight on the second-place running Matt Clark.
Right there, you saw the Ethan Ho getting tapped off the track coming into the braking zone of turn number 6 down the hill. I think he might have been battling with Danny Jachelski and Thomas Schrag and got tapped there and went 4 wheels off in turn 6. He's been able to get back out onto the racetrack, but as they get back into Thunder Valley, this is what I was hoping for, as clean as possible. Not so clean for Ethan Ho, who has shown fantastic pace, John, throughout this weekend. Just doesn't really have a great result to show for it, but nonetheless, the USF Juniors driver looking good here in another USF 2000 start. But let's have a look at the gap. Lap 7 down, and the lead now for Simon Sykes out to 1.1 seconds. That's the kind of gap you like to have. He's got Clark there, Johnson, Papasavas, Garcia. Corey runs 6, Gardner 7th, Jachelski, Schrag, and Brady Golan, USF Juniors driver, now up into the 10th spot.
Battling going on up into the entrance to the keyhole, Rusty. Side-by-side action as that looks like Corey and Gardner going after it.
Yeah, it was Corey and Garcia around turn
Yeah, that's
1,
it. Yeah,
but,
you're right.
We'll see down the straightaway. They were side by side at the entrance. They're still fighting with each other right now. The 14 car trying to get that spot from Garcia. Drives down to the inside.
Battle for 5th place right now is side by side. Little bit of slipping by the car that was on the outside, but that car takes it. Sam Corey moves up a position on Garcia.
And that battle back over here into turn number 9. Leader is already through 9, but looking at that battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th, you've got Garcia sitting there in 5th, Sam Corey away in 4th place, and then a single file line of about 5 cars behind him.
I feel like Sam Corey is pretty confident in that race car right now. He made a really strong move to get by Garcia, and he has again worked his way up a spot, as we said, in now to the top 5. It's Garcia back a little bit. Now he's into 6th spot. 7th right behind him is Chase Gardner in front of Jachelski, Schrag, who's got a spot as well. And I believe we may have another driver, Al Morey, yes, but the 7 now up into the 10th position. So he's got a move by Brady Golan. So right now, Morey, who started back in 17th, up into 10th spot to lead 1.5 seconds for Simon Sykes. We're closing in on the halfway point of this 20-lapper. Matt Clark, again, having a really good run. Last year's USF Juniors champion. Trying to see if he can't go after a title here. It's not all said and done. And right after this, John, he goes to what will be his favorite weekend. He's going to run for the first time at the Honda Indy Toronto. Last year as a USF Juniors driver, he was there. He was glad-handing, shaking some hands, talking to sponsors, enjoying being a Canadian at that race. This year, though, for him to get a chance to race there in USF 2000 will be a dream come true.
And sleep in his own bed. That's a good thing, too.
True.
That does not suck. So here they come through the turn. Chase Gardner getting swamped just a little bit as Garcia getting and Corey battling. Corey getting the position. Chase Gardner, though, coming under some serious pressure from Jachelski and Schrag.
Like the way it's battling in right now, again, we expected as soon as they got kind of settled back in, the individual battles will line up. And again, that's one of the things about this racetrack here at Mid-Ohio. Not only is it physical because there's really no time to rest. It's not like an Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course or, say, running at Road America, where you have these long straightaways where the draft is going to bring some drivers that may not be as quick as you back into the fight. This track really shows who the top drivers are.
Yep.
There's some that are a bit younger that obviously a little less experienced. They get to use that draft to get back in. Not so here, man. You got to work really hard to be able to run up front. That's why we're seeing drivers like Clark, like Johnson, like Papa Savas, who have been good all year long, kind of rising to the top here.
This track rewards racecraft, and that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Rusty Bell, they're coming to you, beginning to stretch out just a bit now.
Yeah, the battle for second, though, pretty tight. It's a car length by me. Nikita Johnson really trying to put some pressure on Matt Clark. He's not ready this lap, but he is right there.
Yeah, and they're about equidistant. Second, third to fourth, fourth to fifth, and a little bit of a gap back. to the next car on line, the 6th place car of Max Garcia.
And if you're the rest of the field, you don't want to see Sykes running as fast as he is, fastest car on the racetrack. But that battle for second is a good one. Right in the rear view mirror of Matt Clark is Nikita Johnson. As he looks back, Johnson will close in as they head up the hill towards turn 11.
We're going to roll now into the second half of this race. And at the very start, we talked about the fact that there only is a certain amount of tires that you can use. Some drivers on fresh tires, holding a brand new set of sticker Coopers for this final race. Others potentially on used rubber, maybe scuffed set from qualifying. So how will that play out over the last, let's say, 5 laps? Will we see tire degradation? Will some drivers start to lose some grip while others are able to maintain theirs? That's where things could come to play later on in this run. It is a 2.3 second lead for Simon Sykes, fastest driver by 0.2 of a second. Chase Gardner actually with the second fastest lap of the race at 123.3 that last time by. Gardner closing up here on Garcia. Both those drivers turning 123.3s, a 3.5 for Gardner, a 3.6 for Garcia. Those drivers are closing up on Corey now as well. So you're seeing the speed start to pick up. But again, this track is so tough, as we know, with those constant radius corners. You get in there, you get that aero wash, you have some trouble. But right now, you can see as they work their way down into turn number 4, Matt Clark keeping the car to the inside of the racetrack, trying to cover off the bottom. If you want to pass me, try the outside, because I'm trying to hold the spot back. But yeah, I'll tell you, Steve, we got a great battle right now for P2.
And that battle coming down over the hill through turn 8. And right there, as Clark looks back, he sees Nikita Johnson and Papasavo starting to close in. That battle for second is 3 cars within a couple car lengths.
Yeah, this is a fantastic fight right now for the final couple of spots on the podium. And again, Simon Sykes out there 2.3 seconds up. It'll be likely more, as he was, I want to say, over a half a second faster than Clark on that last lap. Of course, Matt Clark's thinking a lot right now about defending behind him. He's not so much focusing forward. So pinching off the entry to some of the corners means you're not going to get the same exit speed. You can't roll the center of the corner as you normally would. Yeah, last time by 0.7 of a second the difference. So 122.9 for Sykes, a 123.6 for Matt Clark. So he's definitely backing these guys up, trying to be a little more defensive. But that's what this is about right now. When you see a leader pull away like he has, you're holding on for everything you possibly can. And John, for Simon Sykes, he's like, listen, we did this yellow flag thing already once when I had a massive lead. We don't need to do that again. Simon Sykes is hoping these laps click away. 11 in, 9 more to go. He's just hoping this thing goes clean and green to the end.
Yeah, exactly right. Down into turn number 4 comes the battle for second, Tom.
Oh, it's a good one, John. Still with the position is Matt Clark. Clark making the car as wide as he can. Off turn 6. About a car length separating second and third, then a little distance back to fourth.
And Clark goes a little wide exiting turn or entering turn number 9, but he gets a good run off of the corner. He'll open up a little bit of spacing between him and Johnson. Papasavos is right there waiting for any type of opening to move forward.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say about Papasavos. He obviously has a win already on the weekend, so he's really got that first box checked, right? Got the victory. Let's just bring home another good result. But he's watching these two guys go at it. He does need to think a little bit about Sam Corey coming from behind. Corey running in the 5th position right now. Last time by, he was quicker by about 0.2 of a second. Corey is a second back, so if the math continues, it'll be about 5 laps before he finds himself potentially in that fight. But right now, Papasavos, I think John content to see what Clark and Johnson are going to do. Both these drivers, obviously experienced. They both run in USF Juniors last year. Both drivers trying to still win a championship. Papasavos right in the fight right now, but again, just biding his time to see what's going to happen.
Jacob Douglas right in the middle of the battle between Duchelski and Schrag. So we've been watching that one as well for 8th and 9th. They've been really close together. Go ahead, Rusty.
Battle for the lead, side by side.
At second place, and we watch them almost touch as they came through 4, up over 5, still right together, side by side, again almost touching. Matt Clark able to hold on to the second place position, but not for long.
And that battle still side by side as they come down into turn number 9. Matt Clark is going to grab that spot. He'll slide right across the nose of Nikita Johnson as they will go nose to tail all the way up through the Thunder Valley and back towards turn 11. That battle for second is now 4 or 5 cars deep.
That's brought Papasavas and Corey into the battle now.
Yeah, that was side-by-side racing for about 4 corners in a row, all the way through 4, 5, 6, and 7. Finally, Johnson had to give it up a little bit, but that side-by-side took so much away from their overall pace. As John had said, that's Corey back in the fight. It's Gardner. It's Garcia, as Chase Gardner has now gone to 6th position. Again, we talked about how fast he is. He gets himself by Garcia. Chase Gardner now up into the 6th position in the exclusive Autosport Mindshift Financial number 95. We got more drivers into the fight. Look at this group. That's the battle right now for the final 2 spots on the podium. Clark, Johnson, Papasavas, Corey, Gardner, and Garcia all lined up. Big run back then to Dashelski. We've said that Douglas is in there, and Thomas Schrag as well, running 9th ahead of Al Mori, all alone on the racetrack in 10th. Tom, they're coming down to you. The leader's through, but the battle for second is heating up.
Oh, it is. Now, actually, little more distance between second and third. But as you say, all the way back to Max Garcia, who rides in 7th, and they are all in this fight.
And Sykes loves hearing this as he continues to pull away, but that battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, the closest one of that group is the 4th and 5th battle between Papasavas and Sam Corey. He took a look into turn number 9, nothing going there. They'll head single file up through 11.
Don't count Garcia out. He is putting pressure on Gardner, trying to move up into the top 6, as he's right at the tail end of this group. That 3-car battle between Garcia, Gardner, and Corey is a good one.
Yeah, nobody right now can rest at all in this this front group, because although they've gapped themselves up quite a bit here, it'll be up to Johnson to close back up on Clark, because Clark has developed himself about a half a second, and that means that Papasavas needs to go to work on Johnson, because if he looks up the road and sees Clark pulling away, it's like, no, this is not good. I want to be potentially able to battle for second. Watch for Papasavas to really start digging. But those drivers behind them have been biding their time as well. Corey, Gardner, and Garcia all know that they're closing up. They know they have the speed to be able to get up there and run and potentially get onto the podium. So every one of those drivers will dig in. And John, exactly what I wanted to see. The minute we kind of got past that opening couple of laps, got past that restart, drivers have now settled in. And even though we've had some really hard side-by-side battling, that run through 4 all the way over to 7 for Clark and Johnson, that is what you want in this class. If anybody else is coming back to rewatch this later on and you're in this field or you're in USF Juniors, that is what we expect. Side-by-side racing, the respect given to each other, and that's why they were able to come out the other side and not find themselves off in the gravel trap.
Exactly right.
One car off on turn number 10. That looked like that may have been the number 7 car of or 24 of Max Garcia.
Either Garcia or I think potentially Gardner. Both those cars have that kind of yellow livery added on. They're scrapping it out right now big time as Gardner still runs in the spot. Garcia right behind him, you'll see there on the gearbox across start finish. There's your next group there, third from 8th back to, I believe, 8th and 9th with Douglas jammed in the middle of that as well. There's your leader. Man, he is gone. 6.6 seconds the lead right now for Simon Sykes. And again, I'm sure they'll be telling him, back it down a little bit. Let's go 90%. We don't need to be running on the ragged edge right now. Simon Sykes leads 15 laps down, 5 laps remaining. Rusty, they're coming to you.
He is already by. That's how quick this car is. The battle that we're watching right now, the 95 and the 24, Max Garcia definitely closer after that incident over there. Chase Gardner trying to drive in his mirrors.
Up over 5 once again. Less than a car length separating Matt Clark and Nikita Johnson. They're trying to separate themselves from the rest of that battle. They continue to go at it there for second and third.
And Clark gets a little squirrely as he gets on the brakes heading down into turn number 9, but he'll still continue to hold about a car length advantage over Nikita Johnson. Papasavas and Corey still continue to be close, but it's about a car length between all of those in that battle for second.
You know, anytime you go back and look at any championship battle, you'll see there's a turning point in the season. Could this be the turning point for Simon Sykes as his primary championship contender? Lockie Hughes is obviously out of this race. Mechanical issue. Will finish 22nd position at the tail of the field. This could be the opportunity for Sykes to give him some breathing room that he needs with only 5 more races over 2 weekends left on the schedule. A doubleheader in Toronto, the tripleheader at Portland, and Sykes in a good position right now. There's the battle, though, for second. Coming through back into the keyhole once again. Clark still holds the spot. Johnson, Papasavas, Corey, Gardner, and Garcia. They've separated themselves out a little bit here. You see that next group coming further back. But again, what are we going to see with 4 laps to go? Do we finally get one driver digging? I talked about the different tire strategies. One of these drivers may have been on stickers. One of them may have been on scuffs. Does that play out now here over the last 5 laps? That's what you would expect with these cars, although they are a little bit lighter. They don't hurt the tires quite as much. And again, almost perfect conditions right now, John.
Nikita Johnson looking the raciest of that group right now as he's closed right back on the back of Matt Clark.
And those two come right through turn number 9, about a car length in between them. And then they've got a little spacing back to Papasavos. Corey and Gardner also back there pretty close, but nobody within shouting distance to be able to make a move on Sykes.
Indeed, Simon Sykes has got it happening right now. A huge lead. The crew, of course, on the radio with him, keeping him up to speed on exactly what kind of a gap he's developed. 3 laps still remaining. This battle I like further back here as well. As I said, as they roll through, only one of those, or 2 of those drivers actually for position right now, and that is Danny Duchelski and Thomas Schrag. Right in the middle there are behind them now, essentially 10th on the track, but running further back is Jacob Douglas. Indeed, 15th in the order for Jacob Douglas, a couple of laps back, but good for him to get out there and get some more track time anyways.
Yeah, no question.
So, Rusty, they're coming to you right now. Leader's already through, but right now doing a pretty good job as Matt Clark. He's been able to kind of match the pace and the aggression of Nikita Johnson.
Yeah, he definitely has. And Nikita can close in, and occasionally Clark will have to drive a bit defensively, but so far, Clark certainly has what it takes to keep that position.
Yeah, Carling separates second and third at the moment, and that doesn't change as they come off of turn number 6, up through 7 and 8. Still, Clark leading Johnson.
And that battle about 2 car lengths in between Johnson and Clark. Johnson continues just to hope that Clark may make some type of mistake, get off of the track here or there, but otherwise they stay single file.
There's not really much they can do right now with Sykes out where he is, but again, thinking about the championship scrap with Lockie Hughes on the sidelines right now, Johnson and Clark, who come in sitting 3rd and 4th in points, would gap at least up onto Lockie Hughes, which would be big, although they'll see the gap between themselves and Sykes stretch out a little bit. Maybe smart for them just to bring it home. The last thing they're going to want to do is throw it away to really give Sykes an opportunity to pull. So at this point, we'll see if cooler heads will prevail as Clark running in 2nd, Johnson 3rd. You see Johnson continues to push, but Johnson has room as well. He's been able to kind of develop that gap over Papasavas, who got aggressive for a bit there, John. But instead this time, he's able to focus forward and put all his momentum to try to get up to Matt Clark.
Chase Gardner's got his hands full with Garcia as they are nose to tail as well, Rusty.
Yeah, they're both about a car length apart here at the Kink, but I've really been watching Johnson. He's been really good at the very end of the last 2 races.
A little less than a car length now separating 2nd and 3rd, Clark and Johnson. Back in the field, we've got a pass coming up here. The number 90 going around the 18. Schrag trying to take on Duchelski.
And that battle here in turn number 9 as they come looking at that 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's the 18 with Danny Duchelski. He has got about a half a car length up on Thomas Schrag as they head back up through Thunder Valley.
Coming to the white flag, and Nikita Johnson really looking to go for it here.
This is it. Final lap. Sykes has gone through. Johnson right up on the gearbox of Matt Clark. Clark's going to defend to the inside. This is going to give Johnson a chance to get a big run out of turn number 1. He'll line him up to try to go down now into turn number 2. Sykes is through. 8.4 seconds the lead. Here comes that next group. Again, it'll be Clark all the way down to the bottom. This is going to bring Papasavas back into it as well. Johnson's going to go around the outside. Can he hold it? Papasavas down to the bottom. Big run around the outside for Johnson. Book it. He goes to P1, or P2 rather. But this is going to let Clark go right there. Papasavas, new life breathed into his opportunity to go to the podium. They'll work their way down the straightaway through the kink of turn 3 down to 4. That is Sykes. Look at the lead for Simon Sykes for Pabst Racing. But here's this battle once again. Clark thinking about the outside. He tucks back in onto the gearbox. They'll work their way up to turn number 5, up the hill and back down to turn number 6, and through 6. Nikita Johnson, who was pressuring him throughout the race, able to pull the trigger as soon as Clark went onto the defensive. It has allowed him to get the move. In fact, Clark now having to battle it out with Papasavas, and here comes Sam Corey, but coming through the carousel for the final time. What a way to stretch out your championship with just 5 races to go. Capping off the triple header here at Mid-Ohio, the winner for Pabst Racing, Simon Sykes. Massive victory for Simon Sykes as he'll cruise by the team as they wait on the fence. The rest of the battle lining things up. Nikita Johnson coming home with a strong second-place finish as he gets by Clark on the last lap. Clark able to hold off Papasavas, Corey, Gardner, and then Garcia in 7th. Great run for Danny Jachelski, maybe his best run of the year to finish 8th position. Thomas Schrag, another, I believe, hard charger run from back, I think, where did he start? 19th to 9th, so 10-position improvement. I think he probably made up about 30 spots on the weekend for Thomas Schrag. Fantastic debut for him in the program, and another top 10 for Al Morey in the number 7. He's been knocking out top 10 finishes. There are your unofficial results. Simon Sykes with the win over Johnson and Clark. They'll work their way into the podium. But, John, this is really huge for Simon Sykes, a driver, as I said. He's been in the position to potentially pull away in the points a couple of times. He and Clark got together in Indianapolis and ruined a chance. Ended up finishing 15th. Could have finished 2nd. This was a big run for him. This is going to give him a gap likely of over 20 points heading to Toronto. And again, it's not anywhere close to being done with 5 more races to go.
Oh, sure.
But for Simon Sykes, a bit of breathing room leaving Mid-Ohio.
Exactly. And Nikita Johnson and Matt Clark are 2nd and 3rd in the points, and they are absolutely locked together here. So looking for good stuff for them as we work our way down to the end of the season. I've said 5 races to go. Avery Towns finishing a strong 11th, then Ethan Ho, Brady Golan, Carson Etter, the last of the cars really on the lead lap. Jacob Douglas a couple laps down after that problem, not able to get the car fired. Gordon Scully, Maxwell Jameson, Zach Ping, Max Taylor, Jorge Garcia-Arce, all involved in that incident there up in the keyhole, which knocked them out of contention.
Yeah, Logan Adams, Lucky Hughes, as well as we know out of the race there. But as we had said, Simon Sykes, 10 seconds was the margin of victory for the driver out of Augusta, Georgia. And I'm telling you, he will be absolutely thrilled when he rolls in here. We'll have our Jeremy Shaw down in victory lane to handle the prize presentation there. Sykes, Johnson, and Clark will head in there. Papasavas, all told, a really good weekend. Remember, this is his, he's an Ohio driver, so this is kind of the home race for him. A lot of friends and family out to this event. He gets a race win. Just a really, all told, a great weekend for Papasavas.
Indeed. And Nikita Johnson, again, like we've been bragging on him as well, doing a great job coming from the back a couple times.
Just 15 years of age.
Yeah. He's got a bright future, no question.
No doubt about that. Keep an eye on that name, Nikita Johnson.
Yep.
Is he maybe, will he come back to USF 2000 next year? He's only 15. Does he make the run up to the Pro 2000 category? I'm sure they'll be looking at that based on what we've seen from him. But this is a driver who is trying to win a championship here with this one opportunity he has got to run with Pabst Racing, and he delivers once again. The Matt Black, number 22 for Pabst Racing, the Mockett-sponsored machine, and you can guarantee that there is some relief for Simon Sykes. He has done so well here, John, at Mid-Ohio. We've talked to him on the podium many times before, running for Legacy Autosport. And there it is. Victory for the Pabst driver, and Augie Pabst coming in there as well. Huge one for Simon, who continues to try to find the funding. That's the other thing, too. He's essentially on a race-to-race basis. We've saw this before with Miles Rowe. It's the same thing right now here with Simon Sykes. He does not have the money to finish the season. He's doing whatever he can between races to make sure he's in that car every time they go back racing again. So the celebration will continue down there. We're still a little bit away, I believe, from the start of our driver introductions for the next race. 5:15 scheduled start time, about 9 minutes away before we get things going. So we'll be throwing things down to Jeremy Shaw here momentarily as he gets ready to fire things up. The bottom line is, John's been some great racing so far. Don't go anywhere, folks. When we get back, we'll have Jeremy Shaw, victory lane for the top 3 drivers in USF 2000.
Here we are on the podium from today's final round of the Discount Tire Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio. 20-lap race. And it was well past the halfway season now in the USF 2000, presented by Cooper Tires Championship. And having, pretty much dominated the weekend in terms of pace, we've got a different winner here this afternoon. But let's first of all welcome our 3rd place finisher, who was on the podium, top 7 of the podium earlier on today. A big warm welcome for Mac Clark from Canada for D-Force Racing. And to present the trophy to Matt Clark will be guests of Cooper Tires, Mr. Jason Hilton. Thank you, Jason. A really good result once again for Matt Clark. Comes away with another podium finish, so keeps his championship challenge well and truly on track today. Our second place finisher on the podium for the first time today, but not for the first time this season, from Gulfport in Florida for VRD Racing, Nikita Johnson. Excellent job by Nikita. And to present the trophy to the second place driver is Jody Dillaha. Thank you, Jody. Close on the name or not? Dillahay. Thank you, Jody. Tremendous drive there by Nikita. He took that second place on the last lap with a tremendous outside line pass to turn 2. Very impressed, Nikita, well done. But our winner today was on the pole position, and he's led all laps of the race for Pabst Racing from Augusta, Georgia. A warm round of applause for Simon Sykes. And to present the trophy to Simon Sykes is Jason Hilton. Thank you, Jason. Boy, it's been a long time coming for Simon Sykes. He's been the pace man all weekend here in this number 22 car for Pabst Racing. But finally, he gets the job done in this race, leads all the way through. And Simon, let's get this quick word to you. Hey, redemption there.
Definitely some redemption. I mean, it's been a good weekend through and through. The Pabst car's been hooked up here. Mid-Ohio seems to be a track that favors us pretty well, and our pace has been strong all weekend. It was a struggle to get it done in the first two, but finally race 3, I feel like showed our true colors, the pace we really had all weekend, and I'm really, really happy to get it done for the whole Pabst organization and Doug Mockett, who's been so supportive.
Fantastic job for Simon Sykes there. And he took the championship lead yesterday, extended a little bit this morning, but extended a good portion this afternoon. So a round of applause once again for our top 3 finishers. Matt Clark in third position. Nikita Johnson is second, on our race winner is Simon Sykes.